Hello, good afternoon everyone. Today I will be presenting on the topic what are the acute and chronic health impacts of consuming A1 and A2 beta casein milk in human. The first of all introduction, milk is a white liquid food produced by the mammary gland of mammals and it plays a vital role in human nutrition. The total protein content in the milk is around 3.5%. There are two types of major protein found in the milk. One is a casein, which is found around 80%, and another is whey protein, which is around 14%. Casein makes up around 80% of protein. Among the casein, beta casein contributes 37% approximately. There are 13 known variants of beta casein, such as A1, A2, A3, B, C, and so on. Among these, A1 and A2 are the most common and they are just differed by the just one amino acid. These tiny differences may have a significant implication for human health. And why the research question is important. Although milk looks same, its internal composition, especially the type of beta casein, can affect our health. They are different in each milk. A1 and A2 milk just differ by the just one amino acid, yet that difference may influence digestive system, inflammation, and the long-term health risk. Understanding these differences is essential for consumers, health professionals, and dairy industry as we search for safer and healthier milk options. Now talks about the A1 and A2 milk. What are the A1 and A2 milk? A1 milk contains only A1 beta casein, commonly found in the European and crossbred cows. A2 milk contains only A2 beta casein, typically produced by the domesticated or native cow. In A1 beta casein, we found a histidine at the 67 position of uh, beta casein protein chain, and in A2 beta casein, we found the proline at the 67 position of beta casein protein chain, and A1 beta casein release the BCM7 due to the histidine, and A2 beta casein does not release the BCM7 due to the proline. Now the difference between the histidine versus proline. A1 milk contain a histidine at the 67 position of beta casein protein chain, but in the A2 we found the proline. It talks about the histidine in that means A1 milk. Histidine allows the enzyme in the intestine to cleave the beta casein and release the BCM7, which leads to detectable BCM7 in the blood, urine, and our digestive tract. But in proline, proline has a strong bond with the beta casein protein chain, which prevents the cleavage and not release the BCM7. As a result, BCM7 is not found in the human body consuming the A2 milk. This means that consuming A2 milk does not lead to BCM7 presence in body, potentially reducing the health risks. And what is the BCM7? That means beta casein 7. BCM7 is an opioid peptide released from A1 beta casein digestion. It behaves similarly to morphine and not easily digested and can cause the indigestion and inflammation. Some research have linked BCM7 to type 1 diabetes, coronary heart disease, and sudden infant death syndromes, that is called SIDS, and autism. This diagram shows how BCM7 is released from the A1 milk due to the histidine at the position 67. Gastrointestinal enzyme like pepsin and elastase acts on this histidine and release the BCM7, whereas in A2 milk, presence of proline instead of histidine prevents the cleavage and the formation of BCM7. What is unknown about this topic? Long-term and chronic impacts. Despite these findings, some things are still uncertain. The long-term or chronic impacts of A1 milk, especially to chronic disease, are still debated. Most of the studies either animal-based or observational in human We need to large-scale long-term clinical trials to establish the causal relationship between the A1 milk and the health implication and health effect. Rationale of this study. This research is important for both public health and individual for decision making, either whether they choose the A1 milk or whether they choose the A2 milk. Millions of people consume milk in their daily life, and a small difference in its protein composition may lead to major effects over lifetime. Concern rising, increasing day by day about the milk intolerance, inflammation, and chronic disease. It is essential to determine whether A1 milk is responsible for health risk or A2 milk offers health benefits for dietary guidelines and industry practices. Let's now look at some specific health impacts of A1 and A2 milk. First one is gastrointestinal disease. When compared to A2 milk, A1 milk produces noticeably higher stool consistency value and abdominal pain. From this chart, Bristol stool chart, we can see when people consume A1 milk during their life for a long time, their stool lies on the type 6 and type 7. And another is type 1 diabetes. A1 milk consumption has been correlated with several serious conditions like type 1 diabetes. It is especially found in the children. And another is coronary heart disease. Although this was in uh, animal-based studies, A1 milk increased fat buildup in arteries. And another is autism. Autism is a mental illness marked by the poor social skill and repetitive conduct. Higher level of BCM7 in cow's milk consumers were linked to the reduced cognitive function. People who consume regularly A1 milk, uh, they are found very poor on planning and execution. And another is autism. And the last is sudden infant death syndrome, that is called SIDS in short form. Sudden infant death syndrome is death of an infant within the first year of life. The blood of newborn who briefly stop breathing while sleeping contain a high concentration of BCM7. This finding suggests that some kids can be hypersensitive to A1 beta casein because it contains BCM7, which is present in the cow's milk. However, further research is required before any definitive conclusion can be drawn. Now, moving toward the summary of this presentation. This presentation explored the acute and chronic health impacts of consuming A1 and A2 milk. It provides focus on biological mechanism and health outcomes linked with BCM7 and A1 milk. BCM7 is regarded as dangerous to human health and linked to conditions including type 1 diabetes, autism, gastrointestinal disease, sudden infant death syndrome, and cardiovascular disease. A1 and A2 milk differ by a single amino acid at the 67 position of beta-casein protein chain, where histidine in A1 and purine in A2 milk we can found. Let's recap the health implication again. The acute effects are gastrointestinal discomfort, abdominal pain, and altered the stool consistency. And chronic impacts are type 1 diabetes, coronary heart disease, autism, and SIDS. Most of the research are either observational or animal-based. So therefore, further research is required before any definitive conclusion can be drawn. And these are the references I used throughout this presentation. Thank you for your attention. I would like to open the floor for any questions or feedback you may have. Thank you.